What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. My name is Justin and today I'm going to tell you guys a couple mistakes that I've made working with contractors so that you can avoid them when you work with them yourself. Before I begin, be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure you click on that bell for notifications, but let's get right into the video. Alright, so before I actually tell you guys the mistakes I've made, let me first tell you about my current situation, what's going on. So I'm currently flipping a home in Fresno, California, and my main contractor, the general contractor, he's probably done about $10,000 of repair work so far. And I paid him $15,000 so far, and I pay him in little increments, so I'll pay him the amount, and then he does the work, and then I pay him another amount, does the work. This last draw, so for this last increment, when I paid him that $5,000, he's recently just stopped answering me. He stopped answering my calls, my texts, my Facebook messages. I can't get in contact with the guy anymore. And this is terrifying for me, quite honestly, because it feels like, you know, he's kind of stealing from me. But if he doesn't answer me or he continues to not answer my phone calls, I've already brought out a contractor to check out the job and kind of give me a bid to finish the work that he has not finished. And then I'm working with my attorney very closely to see if I have a case to kind of go to court with the current contractor. I mean, it's something that I don't want to do. No one likes court. I've never been to court, but people say it's bad, and so I'm just gonna listen to that. But it's not right to me, you know? It feels like I've paid for a service and I haven't received it, and I feel like it feels like I'm being scammed, essentially. So I don't like that feeling. I'm hoping, honestly, like this is best case scenario, I'm hoping my current contractor just contacts me and we talk on the phone. I'm a pretty understanding guy. Like I want to listen to the story, listen to what the situation is, and see if there's something to be worked out. But if he doesn't answer, I mean, we're going to court, and it's sucky, yeah, but I think about it, I'm also pretty grateful to be in this position that I'm at already. Like, these are problems, but there are way worse problems that other people are having out in the world, and I'm super grateful to even be in this position. So that's kind of what's going on, first of all. And let me tell you a couple mistakes that I've made through this flip alone when working with contractors. So the first thing I've learned is that the cheapest bid is not always the best bid. You really need a contractor you can trust. And unfortunately for me, the contractor I've recently mentioned, he's actually done work for me in the past, and he's done an amazing job in the past. And so I don't know what was going on, but you know, he came in way below than the other bids. And so that's why I went with him. And so the cheapest bid is not always the best bid. There are a couple other factors that you really need to look at, which I'm gonna talk about in the next couple clips. Here's tip number 2 for you. Tip number 2 is to set a timeline. Normally I do set a timeline for the rehabs. I talk to the contractors and I might tell them, you know, this is gonna be a 6-week rehab or this will be an 8-week rehab, and we wanna agree upon it in writing. With this particular flip, I didn't actually do that. And why I didn't? Because when I talked to the contractor, he let me know that due to COVID, you know, a lot of items were on back order, which is true. Like the windows took forever to actually come in. A lot of supplies due to COVID are actually taking a long time to actually arrive or to deliver. And so I was understanding about that, and I did not set a timeline. And I think by doing so, quite honestly, I allowed him to put my project on the back burner. And I hated that feeling. And so my tip for you guys when you're working with a contractor, make sure that you guys both agree upon in writing for a timeline for the rehab. Now, tip number 3 is to have your general contractor sign a contract. Now, in my most recent flip, I had him sign a scope of work, and a scope of work is essentially a paper, a couple papers outlining every detail of the project. And he signed that with a bid amount, but he didn't sign an actual contract. And I really wish I had him sign a contract, because that will help me a ton in the event that we actually do end up in court. That's kind of where I went wrong in this deal, and I hope him signing a scope of work is enough, but have him sign a contract. That's a big piece of advice I have for you guys. Tip number 4 is to choose a contractor who has the time to commit to your project. Now, I made this mistake recently. When I chose this first contractor, he actually had other projects going on, but his bid was just ridiculously low compared to the other bids that I received. And so I went with him, and he was busy with other projects. So my tip to you guys is when you talk to other contractors is make sure that they don't have a lot going on, because if they do, there's a chance that your project will be put on the back burner, and you don't want that. And my 5th and last tip for you guys today when working with contractors is to not pay them in increments until you fully trust them. Now, this guy, he actually worked with me in the past, and I did trust him enough to pay him in increments. But now I know that it's gonna take a few more projects for a contractor to be working with me before I fully trust them like that. So in the future, when I actually work with a new contractor, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have them just charge me for labor, and I'm gonna pay for all the materials myself. And so I won't be paying them until the work is actually done for each little item. And yeah, it'll take a lot more time out of my day, but I think it's gonna protect myself a lot more. Eventually, I wanna get to the point to where I have contractors who I can all trust fully, and I can always pay them in increments and not have to worry about answering the call from Home Depot and paying with my credit card every time they're there. But for the time being, when I work with a new contractor, I think that's a route I'm gonna take. So that's tip number 5 for you, is don't pay them in increments, pay them for the labor. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you at the next one.